Hi Sandy, how are you doing?
Hi, Manbir. I'm good. Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. I know it's quite early in the morning for you in Ireland.
7:30 a.m. Yeah, it is early on a Monday
Yeah,
morning.
on a Monday morning.
That's
And here we
perfect.
are talking about growth mindset.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks once again, for your time. And Today's topic is writing the most effective emails as a leader. And let me introduce you to my audience. Sandy Seeber-Quayle is an accomplished professional. She traveled around the world in 808 days precisely and wrote a novel, coached sales teams in Apple, trained managers in Aegon, and has managed a multi-million policy portfolio in CNP, Santander Insurance. Diplomas in organizational behavior, coaching, and training mirror her lifelong passion for human behavior. Currently, she works as a market manager in CNP Santander Insurance and coaches other professionals to tackle the challenges in the way of their success. So, Sandy wears two hats, one as a corporate professional and one as a coach. Sandy, welcome again. And this discussion I'm so excited for because you bring two experiences here. One is somebody who's actually writing those emails in the corporate, and one who's looking at human behaviors with a different lens. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, Sandy, the first question to the speaker for the series always is what is growth mindset for Sandy Sieberquell?
Well, growth mindset is really to allow yourself seeing the opportunities that present itself and also going for the right ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other one, it's pretty much letting go of expectations that you might have. A lot of times we assuming things are happening a certain way, and all those assumptions, they are keeping us from growing because we are sticking to the mindset. So it's really about letting go of these expectations and allowing ourselves to see the opportunities that are there, and having a mindset of that are always limitless opportunities and
Wow.
possibilities.
And I really like the word letting go of expectations, of assumptions. And it's the most difficult thing to do, isn't it?
Oh, I tell you, it is. But once you allow yourself saying, okay, well, there's
Mm-hmm.
potentially something better out there. There's potentially some other solutions, and you're focusing on the solution instead of the problem. It's much
Mm.
easier to grow. It's much easier to see those possibilities, and then you can explore them. Like it's a game. It's a fun. It's okay. What's out there? What can I do? And then you
Yeah,
take it.
yeah. That's a very powerful definition of growth mindset. So with that, let's start talking about today's topic, which is writing effective emails as a leader. So when I was thinking about this topic, first of all, for the audience, that I know Sandy for some time now, and she's always passionate about the topic of communication. So I requested Sandy that why don't we talk about the writing emails in this show, and she kindly agreed. So Sandy, what is an effective email? What makes it effective, actually?
Well, emails have become like the tool in a workplace anyway. So, and what I have experienced um, is a lot of ineffective mail communication. But what it makes actually effective is that the recipients get what you need, or what they need to get, and as information. And you know what to do with that information, and also following up on it or action it in the time
Mm-hmm.
you're actually waiting to get that response.
Yeah. And recipient understands that what does they need to do, and they actually do it. That's an effective email.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because a lot of times, you send, you may send an email and to a group of people and nothing happens. And then you need to follow
Absolutely.
up and you need to follow up. And but really, what you need to do in the workplace is making sure that the information gets across. And you also need to make sure that you're progressing on your tasks,
Yeah.
or that the other person can progress on their tasks. So it's very,
Yeah.
very.
Yeah. And we write hundreds of emails. We don't think, whether it's an effective email or not. Either we are replying to somebody's email with information, with data, or we are requesting for something or informing something. There could be multiple ways, we are unconsciously writing those emails. So, what are a few components? If I look back at my email which I have written, so what are a few components of so-called effective email?
Yeah. Well, every email has pretty much the same components. The question is, how do I structure it so that's
Hmm.
effective? And it all starts already with, who do I send it to in the first place, right?
Okay.
That makes really like it's really important. Who is in the recipient's line, and who is in
Hmm.
the copy line? Do I need do I use that? The second one is the subject line. The subject line is super important. If I already pretty much frame the recipient's mind, this is the topic. The recipient know already what this is relates to. So I work in a company where there is multiple markets. So what I usually do is I put, let's say I work for the German market, I put like a GER in front of every subject line to just make sure that a person that is not working on a specific market, but has touch points to all markets within
Hmm.
company, that they know what country is actually relating to.
Yeah.
Another thing could be in a subject line to make sure action required or for information only, like little things that help the recipients. Okay, this is there, but most importantly, it's really important to mark that topic as well. So, what is it actually relating to? Is it just a fun email because I wanted to let somebody know? Being happier or making them laugh, or is it really a relevant topic that needs to go, like let's say a project that needs to go through. And
Hmm.
then you go, obviously you go further into the body of the email. And the salutation is a really important thing. So in times of instant messaging, a lot of people
Hmm.
started to just write a line and that's it.
Yeah.
And but once you write an email, especially when you're the first one, when you're the initiator of that email trail, because email trails are very common nowadays, I think it's
Yeah.
very important to make sure that you are mentioning a salutation, that you really say, dear whatever colleague, or what happens in our company, for example, or we use the word all if you're addressing a few people in there. Um, then obviously you have to kind of give a reference to the subject again. So you
Hmm.
have a
Hmm.
subject line, and you need to make sure that whatever you write next is actually in relation to that subject. And and then what an email should always entail is a call to action, or at least let the people know what to do with this email. Let's say it's a for your information email, and you start with, well, in relation to the project XYZ, please note the following important change of planning, something like this. So it's really
Yeah.
important to know that they know what to do with it. Um, and then if there is next steps, there is a lot of things to be saying about like next steps. I will talk in a second about this, because there's a little bit more in there. Um, and after this, it's always useful to include, you know, a bit of gratitude, appreciation. What I a lot of times do is saying like, I appreciate if you could come back to me by whatever, because I have following up tasks. Let's say we need to go into the approval process, and
Yeah.
this needs to be finished by. So to see that they are actually taking part in a much bigger process. So when they are not deliver, like when the recipient not coming back with what they need to deliver for me, that it stops a process, it stops
Yes.
much other things going forward. So I'd say that's very important. Also always offer support in an effective email, saying like, if you have any question or if something is unclear, please come back. I think I'm happy to answer any question you have. These little nudges, they are really really important, because it helps the people to also, okay, I don't know what to do with it. And you
Mm.
cannot be 100% sure that the other person does always know, even
Agree.
if you write the most effective email, but it always gives the invitation to follow up, which makes it much easier. And people don't
Mm.
like uncertainty. So such an invitation is very important. And obviously, there's a lot to be say about gratitude. Gratitude is a big I don't know even how to call it right now, but it's really important to be grateful for answers.
Mm-hmm.
I usually say thank you very much for your help in advance, or thank you very much for your support. So
Yeah.
these things, they are always good, because it shows that we really are grateful for getting the responses that we are expecting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then a goodbye, kind regards, best regards, in a short, more informal way, sometimes the saying thanks and then say your name. But what I feel it's really important as well is the signature. So really put your signature in every single mail. Say who you are, what title you are, make sure that your contact details are, and if it's cross companies, especially in a big corporation where there are a lot of different companies all part of a full group, it makes life to the people that you're trusting a lot easier to say, oh, how
Mm.
do I contact that person now? So I
Yeah.
don't need to just rush into emails, because sometimes it's better to just actually, maybe it's not the phone today anymore, but maybe it's instant messaging, where you also can ask for a quick call to make sure that you're clarifying whatever doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I say something about the action item. So if there's an action item in there, it's really important that you are clear in what the action is.
Mm.
So the person need to know what is it that they need to do,
Yeah.
um, how to action. So what is actually required? So saying like, yeah, I expect a report of that current status of the project, and you haven't agreed how such a report looks in any other meeting, then it might be useful to say a 1 line or 2 line email would suffice, or I need a PowerPoint presentation with at least whatever 1 slide per each stage of the project, or
Mm.
each work stream of the project.
Yeah.
And also, and that's a big one, is by when does the action need to be completed, by when, what is the expectation? And a lot of times what happens is there is a task, there is
Mm-hmm.
nothing there saying it needs to be today, tomorrow, next week,
Yeah.
next year,
Absolutely.
you know? And that will make the people, okay, so I have 10 priority items on my email, on my to-do list today. This email won't be one of it, because there is no date. So I probably
Yeah.
just long, and
Yes.
then I have to follow up again. So these are the components, I'd say. I would um, look to make email communication super efficient.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for detailing on that. And many of these components look so simple and common sense, right? But still, we are not mindfully thinking about this. And a couple of things I have written it down. What really struck me. One was that those one-liner emails. I've seen many people writing those one-liner emails. Can you do this ASAP? As early as possible. And as early as possible for me and for you could be entirely different. So the huge clarity mismatch here. So I guess what you are talking about in what I'm understanding is about clarity, clarity about what is the purpose I'm writing this email to you and why you basically. And what are the actionable items? Is it only FYI email, or is it really actionable email? And also, I've seen many times people write five people in the two and write that, can you do this by end of Friday? And who is doing it is a $1 million question. So they're solving it. So people tend to do these kind of mistakes. I feel this one-liner, missing clarity, though theoretically I'm sure people know it. What do you think, why leaders go wrong here? What happens?
Well, first of all, like we live in a super busy world. So
Yeah,
I think being in an office 20 years ago and working with people on written communication was a totally different story than it is today.
yeah,
So emails is pretty much a very fast way to communicate. And sometimes what happens with our brains, they can't catch up. They can't really catch up with what we're trying to do. So at this moment, we need something. So we just, oh, where do I get it? We push it over, assuming that everybody has exactly the same knowledge, the same awareness, the same state of mind that we are in. That it's a normal behavior of the brain, or it's a normal
yeah,
way our brains work. So it's this bit of awareness. So it's just as I said in the initial when we talked about the growth mindset, that is actually exactly what happens. We are so enclosed in our own mind that we are not seeing beyond it. So it's really important at that point to step back a bit and saying, okay, before I say, oh, please action on this as soon as possible. So what are the action on it, and what is as soon as possible mean for me? By when do I need it latest
exactly.
by? uh, the other thing is as well, and I think that's very important, is also, if it's sometimes it's such emails, such one-liners coming in response to emails before, or to follow up on meetings, or you have
Mm-hmm.
something in the subject line and that's just in there. And here it's really important that also, please see below, how are we with this? I really need this by. So it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like always helping the people to reference whatever I'm saying. One, I don't remember who it was, but one person said, and now I forgot, I lost my train of thought here, but I come back to it.
Yeah,
Uh, but it's really, oh yeah, whatever you do, whenever you a message, like a phone call, an email arrives at another person, this person is just doing something completely different. They are totally immersed
exactly.
in what they are. So
Yeah,
you need to help them to actually connect or reconnect with you on
yes,
that specific topic. And
yeah.
that's why it's so important to make sure that you add this little bit more into an email, this tiny little bit. I'm not talking about long, just
Hmm.
need to be short and
Yeah,
very
yeah,
precise. And the
yeah.
other one that you said where leaders go definitely wrong is the recipients there. So there were 10 people into two, and hi, please do this, and nobody actually takes any of these actions as actionable
Yeah,
items
absolutely.
because I'm not addressed. So there are a number of ways that you can deal with this. So first of all, you can write the email only to the one person that you wanted to do. Or if it is the team and you need the team to work on multiple tasks, um, well, Outlook has been very good now, so you can tag the people directly in the email and making sure that everybody knows their name. And if you're not working with Outlook, and whatever system you're working with and it doesn't work, you can also just write the @ and the name, and just making sure that everybody is clear what they actually have to do.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, it's a very important thing. And where leaders also go wrong is by, you know, sometimes just responding. And I do that myself sometimes. I read the email and I'm looking at some of the things, and my brain is just using whatever state of mind I am in. And then my first reaction might be totally wrong, because I haven't really really understood what the issue is
Yes.
that somebody asked me to resolve.
Yep.
And I have caught myself, especially last week, it was very warm in Ireland. So I caught myself last week a couple of times where I wanted to respond and then hang on and was like, hang on a second. And I read the email again, and my response would have gone totally into
Totally
the
different. Yeah. Yeah.
different way. So it's really important to, as a leader, also as somebody who's not a leader, it's really important to take this one moment and step back and making sure that you are understanding what is required from you, what the
Yeah.
real issue is. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's better even going down and clarifying, or one time more, or asking for a quick call to clarifying before actually an email goes. And I call it the email war goes. So it's like the real core message is not being addressed at all. So it's like the person understands something, then the other person understands something else, and it just becomes this big cloud as we see in the sky
Yep.
after a really hot
Yeah.
summer day, with a thunderstorm ahead. But really what it needs to be, we need to just stay grounded, if you will, and you're
Hmm.
looking at email. What does it actually say? Do I understand everything that's required from me? Am I clear? And if I'm not, I'm going back. And this to make sure that this clarity is there, right?
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
really important as a leader to build that a role model, to make sure that this clarity is always there for the people that I want
Yeah. Yeah.
them to follow me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm getting is, being more mindful, taking a step back and being more mindful of what you're writing and how you're writing, making it more clear. So you also mentioned that, and I'm also bringing that, briefly back the topic, as we are going towards end of our conversation, that we are expecting people to be more mindful, to write detailed email, and at the same time is a huge constraint. And everybody says, yeah, looks good, these type of emails, but we don't have time. We are always on the fire. So what advice do you have for these executives who knows it but don't have time?
Well, time is time for me always is a word. It's very relative, right? So what does it mean? I have no time. Well, obviously, I take the time to
Hmm.
write the email, and before I go into anything else, everything that I do every day becomes natural and automatic. So if I have a standard
Hmm.
of how I write emails, then it's very simple and easy, and it will take no longer than I do it right now, right?
Hmm.
So it's
Hmm.
it's just this little bit more of discipline to do it in a way. Also, I
Yeah.
ensure there is clear communication, and once there is the clarity, and I'm clear what I'm going to write about, then everything comes automatically. So I'm saving myself a lot of follow-up emails, a
Lot
lot
of
of
yeah, lot of follow-up time. Yeah,
me trying to follow up with other people, trying to
absolutely.
get those emails answered, getting the response that I'm looking for, getting the action items progressed forward. That's one thing that I save a lot of time in future. It's pretty much preventing the
Yeah.
email war, as I called it before.
Yep.
Um, and also I think it's 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 something that's really important is, before I even write an email, I need to have that sense of clarity. As long
Hmm.
as I have that sense of clarity, I actually go forward, and get this efficiency and the effectiveness of an email
Yeah.
to the recipients. And that's a really important thing in relationship to time, because if I'm not clear and I just put a one liner out there and say like, I just put it out there, somebody will pick it up,
Somebody
you
will
know.
do it.
I'm exactly nobody gonna do it. That will stress me out. So I have to think a lot more about these things. In the end, I have spent probably 3-4 times as much time as I would have if I
Yeah.
wrote just this
Yeah.
one very clear and effective email.
Absolutely, absolutely. So hence, these executives are saving actually so much of time if they invest some energy and time in writing those clear emails. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for bringing that point home. So thank you, Sandy. It has been an awesome discussion. I am been loving it, and it's such an important topic, of writing emails, which we use on everyday basis. Thank you so much. Any last words would you like to share with the audience?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Manbir, first of all, for having me and letting me discuss such an important topic. As you said, communication is really important. Maybe one last thing, and I got it from a book from Ellen Snee, who is
Mm-hmm.
just about to publish her new book, Lead. And she is a leadership coach for women, if you will, for more than 25 years. And in her book, she says something, and I think that's exactly what we sometimes need to know as well. Focus on what the audience need and what they need to know, and
Lovely.
make it precise, and just give
Yeah,
it a try and see how
yeah,
it what the
yeah.
benefits are.
Absolutely, absolutely. Such a wonderful thought to wrap up the session. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for quoting that.
And
Thank you for great insight, for a wonderful discussion. I really appreciate your time and value you have created for my audience. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for watching this video. See you all again in the next video in the series. And do subscribe to this channel to watch more videos here to help you succeed in your journey. Thank you and all the very best.